Welcome to the Electoral Commission of Queensland's webinar about real-time disclosure of gifts and loans for candidates and registered political parties in state elections in Queensland. You may be accessing this webinar as a candidate yourself, whether an independent candidate or a candidate endorsed by a registered political party, or you might be accessing this webinar as an agent of a candidate or registered political party. So what is real-time disclosure? Real-time disclosure is one way the integrity and transparency of campaign funding is ensured. All candidates and registered political parties must lodge returns with the ecq disclosing gifts or loans of $1,000 or more as they are received. Usually disclosure must be made within 7 business days of the gift or loan being received. We'll talk more about this in a few slides. Disclosures are made by lodging returns with the ecq through the Electronic Disclosure System, or the EDS. Members of the public can view these returns immediately, allowing them to see who is donating to whom in real time. What gifts and loans must be disclosed? All gifts and loans received of $1,000 or more from a single donor must be disclosed. This includes gifts in kind and gifts of electoral expenditure. The $1,000 threshold applies to both a single gift or loan or to cumulative amounts if multiple gifts or loans are received from the same donor. Once the $1,000 threshold has been reached, all future gifts or loans received from the same donor must be disclosed regardless of the value. For more information about what constitutes a gift, our webinar, What Counts as a Gift, may be helpful. The timeframe for real-time disclosure depends upon when in the campaign period you received the gift or loan. Usually, you will need to lodge your return disclosing gifts or loans within 7 business days. However, during the 7 business days before the election, all returns must be lodged within 24 hours of receiving the gift or loan. Here are a couple of examples to help demonstrate the real-time disclosure requirements for candidates and registered political parties. The Poetry Party received a gift of $500 from a supporter. 3 months later, the same supporter gives the Poetry Party another $500 gift. As these two gifts reach the $1,000 threshold, the Poetry Party must lodge returns within 7 business days of receiving the second gift. The returns must detail both gifts. When a candidate or registered political party receives multiple gifts or loans from the same donor that collectively reach the $1,000 threshold, all gifts or loans from the supporter must be disclosed within 7 business days of receiving the gift or loan that equaled or exceeded $1,000. If the same supporter later gives more gifts or loans, a return must be lodged within 7 business days of receiving each gift or loan. In this second example, candidate Amit receives a $2,000 loan from a friend in the week before Election Day. Because the loan was received during the 7 business days before the election, candidate Amit must lodge a return for the loan within 24 hours. So remember, in the 7 business days before Election Day, the timeframe for real-time disclosure changes from 7 business days to 24 hours. Also, something to note from this example is that even gifts or loans received from family members or friends are disclosable. After the election, every candidate and registered political party needs to lodge an election summary return in the EDS. In the election summary return, candidates will need to disclose the total value of all gifts and loans received for the election, even those that didn't meet the $1,000 threshold. Both candidates and parties will also need to disclose the details of all electoral expenditure incurred for the election. It is therefore very important that you keep track of all gifts and loans you received and all electoral expenditure you incur throughout the election, regardless of the value of the gifts, loans, and expenditure. You will also need to include a copy of the bank statement for your state campaign account with the election summary return as well. All election summary returns must be lodged with the ecq within 15 weeks of Election Day, regardless of the outcome. For more details, please view our webinar on election summary returns. All records about gifts, loans and expenditure must be kept for at least 5 years after the election. If you have any questions from this webinar or you'd like to know where you can go for more information, the ecq has published a comprehensive range of fact sheets on our website, which you can find at www.ecq.qld.gov.au/factsheets. You can also look at the legislation itself. The Electoral Act of 1992 prescribes the disclosure requirements for state elections in Queensland. Or you can contact our funding disclosure and compliance team by emailing fad@ecq.qld.gov.au or by calling us on 1300 881 665. The ECQ provides general advice only. Should you be in doubt regarding your obligations for the election, please seek independent legal advice.